Hey, brilliant. Yes. Here we are, the shortest day. I'm in my favorite jumper. I've been wearing this for like 20 years. Um, yeah, it's my favorite Christmas jumper. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here for this live. I'm going to be speaking a little bit to the topic I've put in, title I've put in the little box that I get to fill in each time I do a live is how to light up the Christmas holidays with your teen. I could write many things in that box, words to that effect, but it's really just bringing my contact with many families. I'm working with many families. I'm in good contact, close, real communication with many teens. And so I have a unique perspective and vantage on what's going on for families and how, yeah, how I can help families, parents, and teens um, yeah, make the most of this particular time as well. So I go into the holidays personally. This is my final day or one of the last couple of days of work before I shut down for a couple of weeks and have a complete break. So yeah, I'm thinking of all of the families that I'm working with and thinking about how they're going to navigate these next couple of weeks and about the work that we've done, excuse me, to help set them up for these next couple of weeks. So this live I really want it to be, yeah, sharing as much of the essence of that as I can with you, for all of you worldwide. I love the fact that we live in these times where I can put out videos on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever it is, and yeah, hopefully be of great benefit to all kinds of families, some of whom I never even hear of. I know a lot of you just watch and don't comment. Please do comment. It's great to comment, but I'm not guilt tripping you. No problem if you don't comment. If you're a watcher, that's fine. That's totally fine. The main thing is to be showing up and taking in the message and implementing it in your family lives. So yeah, somehow I've ended up in this role. I mean, it comes down to my complete commitment to young people and my increasing commitment also to families, to parents too, to spare us from so many ways in which we can shoot ourselves in the foot and be quite self-destructive in our relating, um, yeah, self-defeating in our parenting. So this one's for you. I mean, it's for all of us, I think. To me, I'm exploring parenting, I'm exploring relationships, I'm exploring like relating how to relate with children all the time. That's my obsession, as it is for many educators. And yeah, for me, it's also kind of spanning those two realms of schooling and home. So yeah, this time of year, it's a time in my body and in my mind right now. I feel like it's a time to really let everything be as it is. It is all the way through the year for me. Everything just is as it is. So that's part of my practice, my spiritual practice, if you like. It's just to yeah, deeply accept everything as it is, not to fight with that, not to try and make things other than they are. We wrestle a lot and struggle a lot, which I don't recommend. But if you have been wrestling and struggling a lot with trying to change things, trying to make your team different, trying to make them work harder, trying to whatever it might be, trying to make them more ambitious or just more engaged in life, trying to help them love their learning more, whatever it might be on their phone less, whatever it might be, this time nature is telling us, to just shut down for a bit. And of course, you can carry on working, and some of you might be like a peak season for particular things. There's mocks around the corner for some of our teams. So I'm not suggesting that just for everyone we just down tools and that's that. But atmospherically, I feel like that's most in alignment with the season. Personally, I feel like that's where I'm at. So I would like to invite you into 2 weeks, even if you're still working very hard. A lot of these suggestions I'm going to make this morning are to do with atmosphere and connection, and it doesn't take, yeah, it's more like a state of mind, a shift of gears, or a different mindset. Yeah. Um, Yeah, so everyone can implement this stuff. So yeah, I wanted to invite you into kind of 2 weeks of retirement from all the stress and the struggle, whatever that might be in your relationship with your teen. And remember, for me, my background's in tutoring, so I've really been looking at how to motivate teens, how to get them working better, working harder in a way. Better is a better word than harder, I would say. Doesn't appeal to many teens to want to work harder. But yeah, I really believe in self-discipline and work ethic, but only when it's driven by the team. So self-discipline, I strongly believe in, and that's my wish through my program with teens is to help them develop that self-discipline. It's actually and work ethic. It's actually the freedom that they're really seeking. The frustrations that teenagers have are often to do with not stepping up in that way, not knowing how to take on responsibility, partly because we haven't educated them very well in that regard. We as parents and as teachers and school systems and culturally, we haven't educated them very well to do that. But yeah, so I'm inviting you into a couple of weeks of retirement. You know, medieval times they'd go off and like feast for weeks on end. And I feel like seasonally that is the invitation still now, and maybe especially now because wow, our lives are so busy. Like our schedule is so packed. The intensity of technology in our lives, the presence just of that is just so full on. You know, like I say, it's a state of mind thing. It doesn't have to be 3 weeks of feasting in the woods, feasting and love making. That's what I read in the woods. That's the kind of medieval festival. I mean, I read this from a particular writer, Tom Hodgkinson, who's very funny about that kind of thing. But, you know, I kind of believe that it was a time of revelry and complete release, total, you know, and wow, some of us, we could do with that. We could do with a taste of that. And like I say, a lot can be achieved actually in a split second, or a few minutes of complete relaxation or just navigate these few weeks, even whilst you might be very busy with this kind of frame of mind. So yeah, 2 weeks of retirement, just retire from all the stress and the struggles as a parent and open things up. You know, maybe that is going to be a leap of faith into some more trust for you. Great. That's also part of it. I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, you know, like nature, let's slow down a bit in these times, and it's a great time for reflection, as of course we all know. So we want to, as parents, role model also this balance, you know, somewhere between hibernation and kind of peak activity. Um, Role modeling that to our teens as well. So, you know, like in our relationships with our teens, they might also need to kind of see some of that, like completely just kicking back, lying in, you know, letting it all hang out, just bunkering down movie mornings or I don't know, whatever it might be, so that we can then still kind of get our work done if we do have work to be done. Mocks is high in my mind because I have many students at the moment who've got mocks in January. So you know, it's not going to be a time of complete, feasting and festivaling or revelry or relaxation for them in that way. But yeah, okay, so you know, the shortest day, darkness. I'm kind of interested in the metaphors also these times. So the darkness right now, metaphorically for us, the challenges of parenting. Wow, the strain, the pressure, the exhaustion. The distance, perhaps in our relationships, the sense of rejection we feel, the grief we might be going through in that relationship that we're being pushed away, sometimes pretty spitefully. And of course, we need to speak up for that if it's really abusive relating. But just emotionally, the distance, the fact that we're losing our kids in that kind of way, in that very natural way, they're stepping away from us, they're becoming much more interested in the outside world, in their friendship groups, and in learning from other people, and we're just not the one anymore. So yeah, that's all part of what I'd say is the darkness, whilst we consider the darkness and the light of the shortest day. And yeah, maybe some shame around our situation. This is also part of like letting everything be as it is, you know, just allowing ourselves to feel some of that, you know, like not in a self-harming kind of self-hating kind of way, but just to feel some of the shame or let the shame or the guilt about our parenting and our situation be as it is. You know, some of our insecurity, in letting go, in having to trust. Like I often always talking about trust, and it really is a kind of choiceless choice at a certain point for a lot of parents who would want so much more for their teens or want to be so much more involved or to have that level of control, which we basically can't have at this point. It's not good if we do exert that control. It's actually damaging to our children at a certain point. So yeah, it's a feeling of insecurity for us sometimes as parents. Like, wow, okay, we can't just make our kid do this thing. We can't make them get good results. We can't make them work hard or whatever it might be. Yeah, we're losing that control, and that's good. That's actually really good. That's exactly what our teens need, by the way. And yeah, we don't know. We don't have any guarantee about the results. Let's just put the results, and by that I mean everything. I'm really not just talking about GCSE grades, although of course that's probably the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of us, parents of teens. But yeah, just not knowing anything, not knowing how it's going to pan out, not knowing what kind of life our kids are going to have, not knowing how they're going to get on, are they going to be okay? What are their future relationships going to be like? What's their life work going to be? Like, how are they going to navigate the challenges of the world? What's going to happen? We don't know, and they don't know, and we have to just settle into that. Yeah, so the tips I'm going to give you now are the sense I wanted to give this morning. Well, yeah, just around the light, in there's no separating the darkness and the light. So these are the challenges are great invitations to um uh I suppose, yeah, to seek the light or to kind of to look at like what's the solution here? Like what can I do with all of this energy and these thoughts, these feelings, the intensity. What can I do? What's my go-to? Okay, so well, I would say, frame your Christmas holidays like this. So one thing, warmth. In your relationship with your teen, I mean like physical affection, literally warmth in that kind of way. Like if there is a possibility for physical affection between you, of course, it's completely dependent on each parent and child's relationship, but physical affection like warmth. But it can also just take all of this also atmospherically, a warm atmosphere, a warm, loving look, a gaze, a way of connecting in that sort of way where it's not got the kind of cold steeliness, the brutality perhaps that might be a feature of our parenting also when we're trying to motivate our kids in that way, a kind of wordless coziness. And that really comes from us being able to let everything be as it is, be open to the fact that we're no longer in control. We can't force a result here, and we're just there to love our our child. So yeah, love, which can also, that's another one. So warmth, love. This is all part of the light. Love, yeah, communicate this in whichever way you like to, and push the boundaries if you can. But of course, it can be quite strange to suddenly start being loving or being affectionate in a way that you haven't really built up that kind of that connection. I'm not saying that you shouldn't start to build that up, but out of the blue, just suddenly being physically affectionate or speaking like lots of loving phrases, your kids aren't going to know what to do with that if they're not used to it. So you've got to build up to this stuff organically and naturally with them. And yeah, togetherness, a big part of what I'd hope for you all to do this holidays is to be together. It's a time of lots of present giving and lots of other kind of material acts of generosity. But let me tell you, there is no greater act of generosity to your child than spending time with them. So there's no shortcut for that, especially younger children. But, I know that with the teens, they might not want to really spend that much time with us. So again, we've got to just hang in there for kind of whatever we can create with them, at least be available to them, so that there's a possibility they could spend time with us. And if your kids are younger, then just like, wow, take advantage of these years. There's no point being a parent unless you're going to be there. So, all of us are guilty of this with our working lifestyles and with this way that 21st century kind of lifestyle has evolved. We're not there enough mostly. So it's not to feel guilty about that, but it is to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to make some decisions here around like how I want to parent my child before it's too late. Frankly, before it's too late for their development and before it's too late for our relationships. We're like, wow, suddenly they've grown up. Those young, lovely younger years when they're so open to us, so keen to spend time with us. Sometimes I catch myself or my son just wanting to like have time with me and I'm pulling away for work. I really take that to heart when I see that. And just it leaves something with me of like, okay, wow, this I've really, really must like create more time. So I'm always pushing myself to create more time with both my children. There's just Yeah, they're 11 and 10 now. I can't believe they're 11 and 10. Every parent you ever speak to is just like, wow, it goes like this. So, we've just got to get real with that. Take advantage, be together, make time over the holidays, stop working, even if it's like now, just the 21st of December, if you can make any decisions there or pull any plugs there or back out of any days or whatever it is, carve it out, do it. Yeah. Also, yeah, connection. We've also got to like role model not being on our own phones. Like in a way, I listen to a lot of parents complaining about their teens being on their phones, but we might also squirrel ourselves away on our phones or be on our phones thinking it's fine because we've got like important things to do or something, whereas they're just on social media. That's a complete hypocrisy. So they're seeing is us on our phone the whole time. And us telling them that they shouldn't be on their phone the whole time. So, they might not be brave enough to call you out on that. I hope they are. But yeah, so also just being in connection, spending time together, like the generosity of a 4 hour game of Monopoly is just totally profound. If they're not used to having that much time with you because you're working and thinking of, well, both mums and dads, then yeah, that kind of thing is really precious at this time to really connect and hang out, play a game, go out and do what they do, kind of what they want to do as well. Like having fun with your teen, having fun with your child, stuff, an agreement or an understanding of what would be fun for both of you, not your idea of what you think they should be doing or what they should be thinking is fun with you, but kind of the other way around, like asking them what they would like to do or trying to kind of get out of them a sense of what would really suit them and you, of course. It's great if you can enjoy it too. It's not just to do everything they want and for you to be hating it kind of thing, but doing it because it's building connection with your team. You want to try and find a nice middle ground where everyone's having fun and plan these days accordingly, these next kind of 2 weeks, 3 weeks of holiday accordingly. So yeah, having fun. And yeah, laughter, is part of having fun. So also being playful, being silly, being playful. Wow, as adults, I'm sure you've heard this before from numerous educators and commentators, but being able to be playful with our children of all ages is great for us and great for them, not to become this kind of very serious, uptight parents, but one who can really let their hair down and just hang out, have fun, be playful, have fun, be silly, and empower others also to have fun in that way, to just be wild and free for a couple of weeks, especially if there's been tension and challenges this year, just time to kind of let it all hang out. Yeah. And so yeah, these next ones are to do with those of you that have got kids who've got GCSE mocks in 2 weeks' time. So, peace is also part of the light, peace and ease. Drop the agendas, the explicit agendas, the kind of the emotional blackmailing or the guilt tripping, and just offer support, just really as much as you can hand over and offer support to them. Um, Relaxation, yeah, let your teens also indulge themselves a bit this holidays. They're going to need a break, a break from us being on their cases maybe, and just a break so that they can also then bounce back and get their work done as and when, through these next few weeks. But each one's going to need a different level of kind of break or work routine and structure. It's each to their own. So what I'm always saying to the teens, and what I also think is great for you parents to know, is that they've got to be kind of enjoying their revision time, their studying time. And, that's, I'm not being silly when I say that, like, because they really have to find that gear of it being rewarding, it being enjoyable in that way that they're like getting when they're on, they're getting it done, they're getting all the colors out, making flashcards or whatever it is, and they come out and you can see that they're like pumped after a session. They don't have to be like every single time coming out just like punching the sky or something, but just generally you can see like it gives energy rather than draining energy. If your kids like going and revising, they come out and they're just battered. That's not good revision. They've got to be feeling like, yeah, I slayed another demon today, kind of thing, or like, yes, got that topic in the bag and feel really happy with like the work I've done. So aiming for that kind of immersive, very rewarding experience is the name of the game for their revision through this holidays. And yeah, trust, let them do it their way, let them do it for themselves, check in with them about how it's going. But ultimately, we're playing the long game here about around their motivation, their purpose, self-direction, and responsibility. They could do like n not much work now and then have way more left kind of for the rest of the year. Each student's going to navigate it slightly differently. They could even like screw up their mocks, and that could be the perfect kick for them to bounce back and be strong in the final straight. So, and also even beyond GCSEs, like, we're trying to just educate our children to know like why bother? Why bother working hard? What is there to show up for? What's the reward there? What's it like when they don't? What's it like when they do? So yeah, we have no idea how effective our kids studying is when they're doing it. So it's obvious, it's completely up to them. It's totally the gig here is to try and enable them to feel genuinely purposeful and motivated for themselves. And so as parents, we just cannot push that too far. We've got to leave it up to them and just be there to support them, check in with them, make sure that they're aware of, how precious this time is in some ways if they want to do well and at this stage, but without yeah, without overburdening them. It's a subtle dance which I'm involved in constantly with all of my students and parents. So yeah. Yeah, and that's just one thing to say. Yeah, if you want them to have that kind of support, then of course get in touch with me. I'm here. I'm not going to hide the fact that I do that as my work. And so if you want to know more about the program, how I support teens and parents, then great, get in touch. But yeah, I hope that's been useful from today. The shortest day to yeah, grab all of the light and just be with the darkness as it is. And I hope those metaphors were evocative and supportive for you. I'd love to hear in the comments, always like to hear what's been useful, what's resonated for you. And yeah, would be very happy to hear from you, but wish you a great and happy holidays all together. All right, bye for now.